Hello, users, and welcome back to another episodic installation of Above It All, the series in which I profess to you from the heavens the absolutely and always correct political opinions. Because I'm always correct, I'm just amazing. So here we have Tucker Carlson, whom, not a good guy, very bad guy. Many people have told me how bad of a guy he is. And he's doing his Bernie drops out and let's take a look at Biden thing. And this is important to watch because it kind of just tells you what you need to know about how the media is going to handle Biden being the only Democrat in the race. And spoiler alert, it's not going to be good. So let's pop this fucker on.
He was a party man to the core, always. Sad. All of which means Joe Biden is now the presumptive Democratic nominee. Nobody really chose Biden for this job. He wound up in it by a series of defaults, and it shows.
So the way that right-wingers like Tucker Carlson and Donald Trump kind of propagandize is by using everything that's true and these clearly obvious observations and kind of like sewing them together with extremely terrible solutions. So this is basically, you just look at Biden and you see that he's not a leader. You see that he's a disaster, a ticking time bomb, if you will. And if you just say, like, yeah, look at this is the best that the Democrats can do, which is, of course, that's just bizarre framing. But I see it all the time. I see people leave me comments. Even though I'm clearly a Bernie supporter, I'm clearly not a Democrat, and I'm clearly not a capitalist. But people will say like, "Oh, you're a Democrat, and that's the best you can do." It's like what? No, like you see this a lot in right-wing media, and I like paying attention to how comments go. Like this is one of the best barometers of how you can tell. Like, okay, so these are the crazy people. These are what the normal, moderate Republicans are going to be saying, and like you get a good barometer being a YouTube person. You get all these comments from different kinds of people, and again, like so, the way that they do it, the playbook, is to take obvious truths, sew them together with things that are terrible solutions, like illegal aliens or stuff like that. Like let's cut Social Security, let's cut government programs. You lead them to those terrible solutions that only help them, the rich people, and not you. And it's just, that's just how it works. So we're going to watch the rest of this real quick. And again, it's just sad.
Ask yourself, is Joe Biden ready to lead this country? Could he find his car in a 3-tiered parking garage? Could he navigate a salad bar? And by the way, what exactly is his position on the coronavirus?
Notice how Tucker Carlson uses these real world examples and analogies like salad bars and 3-tier parking garage. Like it's, again, this is how the right-wing playbook does, is they try to profess that, yeah, I'm just like y'all and Biden's a corporate coastal elite and like that kind of shit. It's all posturing, of course, because Tucker Carlson, what's his net worth, right? Like like just simple Google search will tell you what team this guy's on. And it's just one of those situations where, again, it's sad, but this is the machine. This is like, we knew that this was going to happen, and this is why nobody wanted Biden as the nominee. The same people that let the media tell them Biden was most electable are going to have the media tell them that Biden is a dumpster fire. And then they're all going to pave the way for saying, oh, it's the typical Bernie bros, and this is what's going to happen. But again, it's important to just, if you're going to keep following politics, I know a lot of people are checking out, which, I disagree with, but if you're going to keep following politics, you're going to have to know how the game is played, and I'm here to tell you how the game is played.
Pandemic. Those are the mysteries Democrats now face. Biden has been virtually invisible for the last month. That's not an accident. Joe Biden on camera means more moments like this.
We cannot let this, we've never allowed any crisis from the Civil War straight through to the pandemic of 17, all the way around 16. We have never let our democracy take second fiddle. We can both have a democracy and elections and at the same time correct the public health.
You follow that? correct the public health. It's hard to imagine a man like that making it through a presidential debate or even staying awake through the inaugural proceedings. It seems likely that at some point Democratic leaders will try to find a way to replace Biden before the November election. Andrew Cuomo is the obvious replacement, but there are many others. Whatever happens, it's worth taking Joe Biden seriously for this moment. Now that
So that's the clip. And they've got so much ammunition. And here's the thing. Even if Biden decided to turn around right now and take like super pills, like that episode of Johnny Bravo, where he takes like the fucking like Uber juice or whatever and gets like really big and strong. Like if Joe Biden were to do this, they've already got enough ample evidence. The whole clip of him saying like, you know, like, I'm Joe Biden, I'm running for the United States Senate, and if, you know, you look me over, and if you don't like, you can vote for the other Biden. That clip enough. That enough is to completely sink any chance of anyone who's even remotely right-leaning taking Joe Biden seriously. Jennifer Rubin put out a tweet where it's like, we don't need the Bernie bros. The moderate Republicans will save us. And it's like, I'm sorry, I just don't see any proof of that. Now, there's proof that, yeah, the voter turnout in places like Virginia was really high and really came out for Biden. But I don't know if that's coming out for Biden specifically or coming out for who can beat Trump, which that's an untested premise. Whereas Bernie beating Trump is a tested-ish premise. We know from the 2016 polling that he was well positioned to demolish Donald Trump. And we even have from 2020 polling is 2020 data said that worst case scenario, like Biden is like 1 point of a better, you know, task against Trump. And that best case scenario, the way I see it, is Bernie is like 3 or 4 points ahead of Biden in key states. And that's what I'm seeing. Now, again, who knows, really, at the same time, this all comes down to Ohio, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Florida. I don't think Biden's going to have any chance at Texas. That's not going to happen. But it really just comes down to those states. Now, is Biden's stronghold good enough in places like Michigan and Pennsylvania and Ohio? I don't know. I don't think so. It doesn't seem like that. You know, maybe Wisconsin, maybe Florida, but I don't think Florida. So it's one of those things where it's like, sure, in national polling, he does maybe better than Bernie sometimes. But when it comes to individual state polling, the same kind of situation kind of gets exacerbated. And then when you factor in that Bernie can maybe beat Trump in Texas in the general election, that's just like, it's just one of those things where Biden's got an untested premise. So like this whole electability argument doesn't, like, it's not, no, like it's untested is the problem. And also, who's to say that the people that went out and voted for Biden in these primaries are going to be alive in November? There's going to be a certain cohort, you know, these mostly older voters getting the COVID-19 and then dying. It's already happened that people who were poll workers during the Florida primaries and the Wisconsin primary and so forth have COVID-19 and have potentially given it to thousands of other people. And of course, we all know that just because you're asymptomatic doesn't mean you don't have it. So how many people are going to die that are Biden voters? Who knows? This is the thing, is we live in a world where right now everything is unprecedented. You know, we're living in a historical moment. Nobody knows what the hell's going to happen. And, again, I mean, you can hold on to your fleeting Bernie might win in the primary, who knows kind of thing, which, who knows? You know, who knows, right? Like, anything can happen, but it's unlikely. Personally, I'm not. If you want to have a conversation with me about the Green Party, feel free. Feel free to debate me. Add me on Discord and so forth. But I'm not convinced that the Green Party is going to do anything. I'm just not. I'm not convinced that it won't. You know, like I'm not going to say to you that the Green Party is useless and fuck them. Of course not. But I'm just not convinced that they will. So if you want to have a debate, you know, you can move me on that subject. But either way, if the general happens, it's going to maybe be in November at the earliest. And that's a long time. And there's a lot that can happen. So the way I see it, I'm not here to tell you I'm going to vote for Biden. If push came to shove, I probably would, but anything can happen, so it's just there's no reason to say that. Like saying I'm gonna vote for Biden in April is just like it's a waste of your time, it's a waste of my time. You know, who cares? Who gives a shit? I'm here to tell you the straight dope, as it will, because I am in fact a straight dope. I'm actually not either of those things, but either way, this is going to be the right wing playbook again. Just focus on the cognitive decline. Now that Bernie is no longer in the race, you know, theatrically speaking, the media is going to focus more on Biden by default. And again, it's the same problem with Hillary, is that default is it's good enough to get you through a primary, but is it good enough to cross the finish line? We'll see. But history says otherwise. And I'm very skeptical. But either way, let me know what you think, and I'll see you later. Thank you for watching.